in electrical engineering, followed by the advanced diploma in instrumentation and control. So as it goes by, it's not a smooth journey and many failures encounter, but due to your stamina and never give up attitude, you manage to get what you want. And in the course of your work, you are not an excel worker, but you didn't give up and continue to learn at your own pace. So currently you are working as an instrument engineer, is it, Mr. Arsad?
Yes, currently I'm working for as an instrument engineer. Yeah, you're right. I've been working since this with the Shell. I've been working for about 42 years. One thing good is that I just got my my extension. So I believe with the extension, I believe that the company still need me, even though that I'll be next month I'll be 67. So initially when we joined, actually the retirement age is 55.
Yeah, that's right.
So later they say that they want us to decide from between 55 to 60, we can select. So at that moment, we can't, but that was 15 or 20 years back, we cannot decide. So some choose 55, some choose 60, but at that moment, so I'm thinking, so I just decided to choose at 57. So I retired at 57. After that, they extend me to, straight away they extend me to 65. And then recently I just got a letter, they want me to continue up to 67. By looking at the way they, they extend me, continue extending me. So I believe I did contribute to the company, because no company want to employ you if you don't give them any, it doesn't contribute to them. So I believe that my contribution is quite significant. That's why they want to keep me. Because I have friends and I have colleagues who, when they reach that age, they ask you to retire.
Yeah, Alhamdulillah. So how you see your failure as a motivation to success? Because here you said that there's a lot of failures along the way before you achieve what you want in your life.
Yeah, you see, to me, when I start, when I was a young boy, I don't have any I don't have any guideline. I don't know what, I don't have any determination. Just just doing anything. Because I remember last time, but I've heard about this oil and gas industries, they pay good pay for those workers down there. So I remember last time when I first, after my O-level, while waiting for a job, I went to Bukom. I work as an errand boy, contractor. So inside, I know what is happening inside. I saw all those staff down there. As an errand boy, what I do is I used to buy food for the staff. And I remember go to everybody, every staff in the control room, take out the name. And I can remember this guy, what he smoked at the time. You can smoke, what food you eat, what you like, everything I know. So I come down. Then at that moment, everybody like to join Shell. Everybody. Because at that moment, I was thinking that as long as Shell can employ me any job, even as a office boy, I don't mind. I don't mind taking it. Because the perks is good. The perk is good. Honestly, I can say the perk is good. Later, due to somebody want to, at that moment, you can get employment if you know somebody inside. You know somebody inside, or you have your parents. Those orang-orang dulu, they have orang-orang Melayu dulu ramai sana. They can ask their parent to recommend them. You can go in. For me, I don't have anybody in now. So there's a point, there's a time whereby someone want to recommend me to be to work down there, but because of my NS, I'm not enlisted yet, so they cannot take me in. See, so I left, and then I took up a trade, because with my O-level, I don't have any good O-level. Honestly speaking, I don't mind sharing that I don't have any O-level when I first down there. I don't have O-level. Yeah. That's why. So I do some trade. That means in VI. Those days, vocational institute, people look down on it because it's a trade. It's equivalent to ITE. Now it's ITE. Last time they called trade. They got trade 1, trade 2, trade 3. So those who didn't do well will go to this type of schools. So it's, they call it vocational institute. I think now you don't hear that again. Vocational institute under the ITB, Industrial Training Board. So I took up an electrical, industrial electricity, something like that. So once I finished there, with that trade certificate, I took up a job with PWD. PWD is a short form for Public Works Department. That's a government body. So I work as an electrical wireman. My area of work is that I go to all those schools, the government school, the building. You can see last time our lighting are fluorescent tube, so I went there to change fluorescent tube with ladder, carry over ladder, go to each class or go to any government building or any government quarters or any government building to change all those related to electricals. I did do the maintenance. Later, I found that there's a course conducted during that day in Singapore. There's only 2 poly. One is Singapore Poly, the other one is Ngee Ann Poly. They don't call it Ngee Ann Poly, they call it Ngee Ann Technical College. So it's not easy for anybody. Only those who good only can go inside on there. Those who did O level. Even that, we got a lot of our Malays who took up that course. The first year, a lot of casualty. Most of them casualty. So those who didn't do well in poly at time, from my experience, I see that some of my friends, they only can complete for 2 years only instead of 3 years course to do the what do you call it, to get an industrial technician certificate only. You cannot get a diploma if you didn't do well in the first year. They will segregate. Okay, you didn't do well. For my case, I cannot get a place. No way, not easy. Not like now we have so many poly. At that time, we don't have only 2 only. Ngee Ann Technical College, and that was in early 70s. My experience. So I carry on. Then after trade, it's a technician certificate. So at my time, you can get technician certificate either from Singapore Poly or STI. STI is 1 grade above trade cert. That's a 2 years course full time. So I took up as a day release course. In other words, in 1 week, 1 day you will go to school full time. The rest you do in the evening. So from there, I obtained a technician certificate. After which, I joined Singapore Corporation Rehabilitative Enterprise that is in Changi Jail. That's a good experience for me. I know how it's inside the prison. I met all the prisoners. I work with them. And after that, I know that staying in the prison, you cannot go far. So I saw with that experience, I take the opportunity with PWD, my background. I've completed my 2 years service. I applied for electrician license. In early days, in order to get a license to be an electrician, you need to have some working experience. But due to the fact that I was in the government body, they recognized my service, so I got the electrician license. Early days, those days, you don't have to take tests for the license if you are from the government body. But
so
if it's private body, yeah.
Yeah, sorry. So this is the LEW back
Yes,
then.
correct. It's a LEW, right? So with that, I applied Shell. Then I joined in as an instrument mechanic. One thing. The story is about that. When I joined Shell, the time there is a vacancy for mechanic and a technician. Unfortunately, as I told you that even in my course of study, I didn't do well. For my STI also, I did a refer paper. So while I was waiting for my refer paper result, I got a job. I went for the interview. So in the interview, I would like to be in the Shell. So they offer either instrument mechanic or instrument technician. Because at that time, your pay is different. Technician and mechanic is different. Mechanic is slightly lower. So during the interview, I told that time the interview is it's a Dutch guy. So he told me, I said, I have a technician certificate, but I haven't got my result yet. He said, if you were to produce your ITC certificate, I'll put you as instrument technician. Okay. So later when I came back, unfortunately, I received my result as I passed. So I called the HR. The time they call it personnel. They don't call it HR. They call it personnel. So I called them. So they told me, if you were to produce your attendance certificate, we won't be taking you in. Oh, so then I keep it. I keep quiet. I joined in. I just joined as a mechanic. After working for a while, I produced my technician certificate, but I still don't get it. That's why I told you, if people don't recognize you, you must make sure that you do yourself. You do your own upgrading. You do everything to get yourself upgrade. It's not they who decide you to upgrade. People can see whether you can work or you can work, whether you can meet the target or not. People can see. That is the thing that I hold. So even after a while, they give me an increment, but I still cannot get that position. To be a technician at that time is very great. It's very great in the sense that your nature of job slightly higher, not that slightly higher, but your nature of job and the pay is very much better. And I have my junior who got technician certificate, who joined together with me, he got it, I don't get it. So I know, because even though I mean, you to go up at that state is very difficult. So what I do, okay, and then later I found that I need to do something to get to be a technician. So I took up poly, but before taking a poly also, my result, as I told you, is not as good. It's very difficult to get in. So I remember that time I did a study. I took up, what they call it, City and Guild of London. I think now, in early days, it is recognized in Singapore. It's recognized in Singapore. Later, it's not. It's a London examination where after getting a technician certificate, you will get the City and Guild full technological certificate as an electrician. It's electrical engineering. I did that. So on obtaining that, I used that to apply for poly. And poly, when I do, it's a part-time course. It's a 5 years evening course. To my surprise, I got in direct entry third year with that full technological certificate. I got entry direct third year. But at the time, I'm already married. I have children. So, just imagine, I have to work. My wife's not working. I got children. And then I do study in the evening. And at that time, I'm staying in JB. I'm staying in JB. So just imagine every day after work, I go to class. After that, I go back to JB and I come back. Okay, at that time, why people may ask, why do you stay in JB when you can stay in Singapore? At that time when I got married, I didn't plan in such a way that those days to apply housing board it's not easy. It takes years. So so somebody asked me, why don't you stay in JB? So I stay in JB. So every evening, just imagine from poly to JB, and then morning go to work every evening. So one day, one of my, not my immediate boss, even though I did my best, I think, but I find that myself still not recognized. My performance still recognized. So I tell myself, you better work hard, get somebody, do something that even this guy don't recognize you, somebody will recognize you. But truly, one day while I was I think at that time I was about to do my Dhuhr prayer. There's one of my immediate boss, is what called Salim from Dutch, called me. He called me one by one. He said, we don't see any reason why you are not promoted. He and the head of department want to promote you because we know that we took this type of course and we don't see any reason why you're not promoted. But my immediate boss do not know. But at the end of the year, when during my interview, they show me that we promise you will promote. That's where I got the jump from a mechanic to a technician. That's why I say, if you want to do something, if people don't recognize you, it's all right. You work hard, get another avenues. There's a lot of avenues for you to go up. Don't You don't have to be, I mean, kecewa what if you're not get anything. You got the way. Then from there I go on straight away from. But in poly also, I didn't do well. I can tell you, people, some even of my colleagues tell me, Arsad, you nak bikin rumah kat poly ke apa, something like that. Because I take so many years. Even though I got direct entry from third year, I don't mind sharing with you all that. Even though I should be doing third year, but I did more than 3 years, 5 years already. And I'm almost every year, almost kena kick out from poly. But I appeal, I got it until I got it. Till I finish. So to me, as I told you, it's better late than never. That's why I hold it like that.
Okay, Alhamdulillah. That's a good story from Mr. Arsad. Okay, these are some of the things that we can relate where there's some graduates nowadays or students who wouldn't want to become a technician. He or she straight away want to become an engineer because they took a degree or even a master, but end up didn't get the recognition. So because some of the company, they prefer to take someone with experience and with a degree. So what can you give advice to the students out there or the graduates?
Okay. To be honest with you, just put yourself, if you're an employer. To me, once you get a degree or master, the degree is yours, not his. And how much can the employer get from you? I don't want to employ people who have degree only but cannot work. You have to tell them that you can work. You have to tell them, I can contribute this, I can do this, that can make your company grow. Nobody want to employ that. So why must I pay you when you do not contribute to me anything? How can you prove it to them? So you must be ready to work. You must be ready to dirty your hand. You must be ready to work in the field. If you think of a job that is already in a desk-bound job, I think you won't get it. You cannot get it. You must be prepared to be, because in order to be a desk-bound job, to do all this thinking job, you must know what's the ground like. If you are a good engineer, you must be able to control your men. How can you control the men if you do not know how to do? If your men ask advice from you, you cannot give them advice. For example, the men got trouble in troubleshooting. So you should be there and guide them, and you should be there to show them, hey, this is the way. For example, let's say for me, I'm doing my job is we work with the other engineering discipline, supporting the production team. Let's say the production team, while they're starting up the furnace, or they cannot get the thing down. You just cannot stand there. Every minute is count. Every minute money. So they don't want you to stand there. They want you to know how to solve their problem. So you should be there to solve the problem. It's not that a desk-bound job if that is the case. That means desk-bound job is usually when you're doing a design. But how to be a good designer when you do not know what's going on outside? The installation of the thing. What are the equipment you need to use? To do the paperwork is only, to me, is applied to those who have some experience outside. They know what to look for. I have experience that come across engineers who have degree, yes. When come to work, let's say, because to them this is the hit to think. So we tell them in the process that we need to remove this control valve. So he failed to see that this control valve, what are the size, what are the types. Then you should know what is the application for. For example, let me give you an example like a shoe. Everybody put on a shoe, but boots is also a shoe, safety shoe, and then your dancing shoe also is a shoe for your footwear. If you were to go if you go to the refinery, you cannot put your dancing shoe. You have to use a safety shoe. So the application, what I mean is the application. You should know when to apply. But if you are if you always think of a job I mean, as an engineer, you want to put on clean shirt, I think difficult to work. Outside, they need you to work. They need you to produce. They need you to troubleshoot the problem. And another thing I like to share that, let's say for you, as example, once, let's say you are an instrument engineer, you must be prepared to work in a mechanical line or electrical line. You must know. For example, in my early days, when you talk about compressor, I don't touch. It's all mechanical. It's not true. Nowadays, those compressors are installed with all those instrumentation. Let's say you know, like they're monitoring the bearing, whether it's worn out or not. So they call it, let's say, when the actual displacement alarm came on, you just say, cannot, it's not my job. No, you cannot do that, because it is the instrument is integral part of the compressor or the motors that you need to know. You have to work with them together. You have to share. You have to share your knowledge and understanding, and then you have to analyze also when the problem comes. Why is this happen? Last time why it's not happen? You cannot say that, well, last time didn't happen. Why now happen? I don't know. You cannot say that. They don't want to hear you say you don't know. Yeah. You should be able to explain to them why you say that. Right or wrong is another thing, but you have to give, as an engineer, you have to give a reasonable answer. Why this did. Let's say for my case, for example, in the middle of the night, there's the plant trip. So you don't know how until morning you come down, the boss tell you, hey, this plant trip. Then it's up to you to tell why it's cause of trip. Then you can extract from the sequence of event. From there, you can analyze from your trend. What comes first? Why it comes first? Due to what? And then is it because of the process? And then you can trace from the sequence of event. You know what have they done. Sometimes this operation, human factor, they forget to put the controller on auto, so they leave it on manual. So when the thing trip, they quickly change to auto. How we do? We investigate. We can trace at this hour why you put this thing on manual, because it should be on control. Why you put that? You know. Otherwise, to run a plant without knowing what caused the thing trip is very dangerous. Safety is very, very important. You cannot do as what you like. You cannot do agak-agak. I hope I answered.
Yeah. Actually, these are all the things that I can relate, because I'm currently working in the aviation industry where you have to work in the operation side. So for me, I'm doing repair of the components of the aircraft. So we deal with machineries and so on. So there's no right or there's no standard answer if there's any problem given to you. Let's say like what you mentioned, if in the middle of the night, if there's a compressor not working well, or there's any faulty equipment, you as an engineer there during the shift, you have to solve it, because end of the day, what the manager see is that they only see their target date. They only see what you can deliver.
Correct.
At the end of the day. So they expect you to solve the issue.
Yes. But it's only by experience, only by able to analyze. From a trend, you can see at that moment, you can see. Sometimes it's not because sometimes due to nature. Let's say for a flow transmitter, let's say in the event, it's a heavy downpour. So you can see, technically you can see, for example, assuming example of just let's say a DP cell, a differential pressure instrument. So you expect this type of pressure, you expect, but during the rain, there's some disturbance due to the heavy rain. So what are you going to do? So you know that your trouble that's caused by rain. So what you do, you have to put some canopy for that, make sure the steam trace, make sure the lines always in that condition, because there's changes in the condition. That's why the thing change. So all these things you need to have from basic understanding why it happened. You need to understand why earlier it doesn't happen, now it happened. Any changes in state, Then from there you can derive the answer.
Yeah, there's a very good insight of problem solving, or for what we call it in our aviation industry is root cause analysis. So
yes, RCA call it.
Yeah,
Yep.
so we understand based on the trend and we make judgment based on that.
Yep. And in order that, because now you are an engineer, but you should know also what's the operation doing, what's the product, is there any change in product? Sometimes you want to get the change in product due to economic reason. Okay, we want to buy this product, but we don't have, so we have substitute another product. Then you can see the SG of the product will be changes. So you cannot put your thinking just on what do you call it, just on your skill, on your machinery, on technical thing, but you have to see the products, what side is it, what's the product they're using, why. Oh, you can say, yeah, because when you use this product, the SG change. So my instrument is based, when we do the calculation, it's based on the SG of this product. But you give me this product. Let's say they compare a simple thing like a level. Hey, my level, my sight glass is showing 50%, but your reading instrument is 100%. Why? So you tell them, come on, what is this inside? The SG of this product is meant for measuring a certain liquid, but your vessel is now having an interface level. So the SG is different in the SG. So my equipment do not know that you change the product, no? Correct? Let's say it's meant to measure water, but you put oil. You know, oil is SG is different. So due to upset, the vessel is filled up with oil, let's say, assuming. And then, but your instrument is, you calibrate it to measure water if I put oil. So even though they say, oh, how come it's still 50% or 100%, then you can tell them, well, reason is, what's the product now? If the phase is different, also you have to use a different calculation. So as an engineer, you have to tell them why. Let's say the plant cannot start up, why? You can tell you, yes, you cannot start up because the system says that you have to, in order to start this plant, your flow you must establish certain kind of flow, but you haven't got the flow, how to start? This is preventive, what they call it, is a safety. Let's say your valve failed to open, or your fire, you cannot light up the furnace. Why? That's because, let's say, your some of the requirement is not met. But this operation they can't see, but you can see. If you were to go to your what's it, your logic, and see, oh, this is not met yet. Yes, this is not established yet. Then you can tell them, okay, come on, can you please open this one? Or you forget to reset. Sometimes everything is done very good, but you just forget to reset the button. Hey, you forget to reset. Okay, it's clear. See? Yeah. This is my experience that I can share. Hopefully, those guys outside there can think, oh, this is expected from you. This are you, because nobody wants to employ you if they think that you cannot give them anything, right? Yeah, it's common sense, right?
Okay, so what are the advice that you can give to the graduates or someone who want to aspire to be an engineer? Because from what I know in Shell, there's no, they have this program called graduate engineer program or something, where you rotate to all the other department. And,
okay.
Yeah.
You see, in my company Shell, this graduate scheme, even though you're graduate, let's say you left you for 6-7 years, you are the graduate, but you don't dream, you don't get that. This graduate scheme are usually handpicked when you're in the universities. You did very well. Okay, but don't worry about that. Some people cannot get that those. Alhamdulillah, my son is one of the graduate scheme, but not from Singapore, not through me. He applied on his own. He got it, the graduate scheme. Okay, but I didn't get lah, so I got from outside. So you just join any company related and do very well down there. So when there's an opening, a lot of our Malay guys or Muslim guys who are engineers are not from a graduate scheme. They are from outside. They did very well outside. So when their friends join Shell, once he's inside, then they will pull you in. Let's say, for example, I know that you're good. Okay, I don't need you to help me, then I will pull you in. And then it's very easy. But if you're fresh, you can apply the career.com for Shell. Then it's not easy. If you get in, your class. Because from what I heard from my son, when they interview you, they don't interview you. They don't ask simple question. They ask they ask you something like, if you're the general manager of the company, how do you do this? How do you do that type of question? They don't ask you about your technical knowledge. So you must be prepared to know all these type of questions to answer. You don't expect that they will ask you all those technical things. Not necessarily. Maybe they don't ask you what's your field. They ask you some other thing else, because to them, university is for you to learn and able to think. So you must have they call it a bird's eye view, what is happening and what to do when this type of thing happen. Let's say if you're a big boss, let's say you want to run this company, and then the people, the orang kampung don't allow you to invest there. What do you do? And this type of question which you should never think. This one my son told me. Let's say now you sent to Africa, and then people don't allow you to work down there. The company you want to run, how? What do you do? These are the things that before you start work, they ask you to do as though because they plan for you to be on the top scale. That's why if you're in a grade scheme, after a certain year, they send you all over the place. And that's how they do it. So if you must sujud syukur banyak-banyak if you're in the graduate scheme. But remember, you must continue lah. If you cannot perform, sorry to say, they will throw you out. As an engineer down there, if you cannot, I've seen people graduate also. Of course, they are good, but are being thrown out if you cannot perform.
I see. That's a very good information from Mr. Arsad. Okay, so here you share with us regarding your quote that you have, which is, "It's better late than never." What lesson you can bring to the viewers who are listening now or viewing this session?
Yeah, as the word is better late than never. You see, I have friends, I should say, Alhamdulillah, many Alhamdulillah, shukr Allah. Because if I compare myself to most of my friends, some of them who started earlier better than me, but now some of them doing security guard. It's not what I mean. They cannot get a job. They cannot continue. In the early start there. Because those friends of mine, all those of them, they like to choose job which is you don't dirty the hand, you don't have the skill. Skill is very important. You don't have the skill. You like to do those so-called statutory board job, desk-bound job, those simple things. Yes, initially with your certificate, yes, you can get good pay for starting pay. Yes, correct. When I started as a mechanic, my pay is just about, I think 350. That was in 78. Okay, and then I find that in the long run, you cannot last. And then some of them, they do all odd jobs. They cannot get a job. So that's why I say I syukur banyak-banyak. After reach my retirement age, and yet I still get my extension. That's why I say, and as I say, it's late better than never. The reason why I say I didn't do well in my education also, because you cannot be. You cannot be. You cannot do well because I say I can give an excuse that I have children, I take care of them, and at the same time, I want them to do well also. So I cannot do it. I cannot be a Superman. At the same time, I also like I never miss my belajar agama. I want that. I want to strike a balance, dunia akhirat. As a Muslim, I have to be a dunia akhirat. I have to hold it firmly. So you cannot be good in the agama. You cannot be good everything. So that is where I say, it's okay. I cannot get this, but I know that if something happened to me, I've got something to fall back. But in the end, I say that what I'm afraid that if let's say you kerja you tak ingat, what is also advised that one maybe you develop so well, you're so good. I'm not discouraging, actually it's good, but you must remember also your bagian also, and your family also. You bagus, but your children tunggang langgang also, no point. At the end of the day, when you pusing belakang, you think, alamak, my children didn't do well. What's so good if I do well, my children do well? I mean, my yardstick is different. My yardstick to see a success is not only you, it's how you bring up your children and how you bring up your family. Alhamdulillah, I told you that all my children are graduates. Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. Okay. Even though they don't get direct also like me, but they still got it. They still got it. They are from poly, they go university. In our time, in my time, no such thing as after poly can go university. You have money, yes, you can go outside. But if you don't have money, I came from a big family. I got 10 brothers. And my parents, other parents, 5, I think so 15 of us. You just imagine in housing board flat. And I have no direction that time. Just work. My father also got no time to take care of us because they siang they driver, malam boleh buat taxi. So it's tough. And I do job quick juga last time. That is in the 60s. I think maybe your parents belum kahwin lagi. That I can share you.
Okay, alhamdulillah.
So easy. That's why I say it's better late than never. Never give up. In life, never give up. Ingat Allah, never give up. And I like to quote the way they say, the Quran says, "Ustudi ud'uni astajib lakum." You pray. Last time I remember every year I pray for what now I tell you to get in poly, but I never get in poly. But in the end I got in poly, right? After how many years? That's why I say the janji dia betul. You get it. You will get it. It's a matter of time. You will get it. You doa whatever you want in life. You doa betul-betul, you should dapat. That is my principle. I always believe in that. You doa betul-betul, you dapat. How many years? Every year I know that I cry out, tak dapat masuk, tak dapat masuk, tak dapat masuk. So, but that does not mean you mesti diam-diam. I took up here, I took up course, I took up that there. Just to get the thing for entry, for application to poly. That's why I say it's better late than never.
Yeah.
If you give up, you don't get anything.
Yeah, that's right.
Right?
Yeah, correct.
You tak boleh duduk diam lah. You okay? You this boss don't recognize me. Okay, it's alright. I make sure I do something that people recognize me. Even in Ugama also the thing. You don't have to show off you can do this. You just do. Ikhlas, just do. People can see. Allah Ta'ala can say, take this boy. This guy can do this. This guy. You don't have to show yourself. You don't have to just do ikhlas. The best you can. Allah Ta'ala akan uruskan.
Okay, that's very good information. I hope everyone listening will get something from Mr. Arsad. So we have a very last question. Okay, regarding right now, as you understand, during this COVID-19 process, how to remain relevant in this period of time? What are the skills that can be applied to the workplace or anywhere? If you let's say if you're finding a job, what are the skill that you need to have, be it a technical skill or a soft skill?
Yeah, because if you talking about COVID, at this juncture, everybody will experience this type of condition. So what I can tell you, maybe what you can do, one good example is what you are doing now. You tell your fellow friends that these are the things that to look for. Okay, these are the things to look for. So if this experience, maybe thinking of short courses, which is relevant to understand this thing. Maybe kalau misalnya kata you know that you cannot get this thing, then do something that is beneficial to you lah. If not, you can get dunia, maybe you can get akhirat lah. You just cannot just diam-diam doing nothing. Do something. Or maybe you can do odd jobs. Do technical thing. From there, you have some experience. At the same time, you're also contributing to your CPF. You have some money in your CPF. You don't do anything, you don't get anything in your CPF, no? And you need that money for your CPF. That's something. I did a lot of things. I biasa jual mie rebus. I biasa cat tepi jalan. That's why, to me, there's nothing to malu, there's nothing to boast. I start all from the beginning. Humble way, I said.
Alhamdulillah.
Just work, just do something. I mean, for me, it's difficult for me to, because for my case now also I do, I'm considering essential service, so I have to do two days 2 days, 12 hours, and then off. Then for those who don't do field job, they work from home now. But work from home, so how much you can contribute. But if you work, and I think that whatever you do, you must make sure that you enjoy it. Then you can go far. Even though you're slow learner like me, you will tend to appreciate. You will tend to appreciate. You tend to appreciate. At the same time, you also have to be, what do you call it? Yang sombong dengan kawan-kawan you learn. Tak malu lah. I myself sudah tua. And then for those computer gadgets or thing, I still lose to my those young engineers. Tapi tak apalah. Tunjuk putar kepala. Okay, I want to learn. It's okay lah. Sometimes you look stupid because certain thing, but at the end of the day, you tell yourself, behind my back, I have all the experience. I have all the knowledge. But this thing cannot blame me because I was in the school. Because during my time, even the pressure gauge also we do calibration, we remove everything. Now you just use and throw. During my time, your recorder, we use a paper recorder, manual recorder. Every morning we come to clean the pen. But nowadays you don't know that. It's all inside the system. We can trace. You see, different thing. Then think of something that you can help you in the course of your work lah. You belum dapat you aim apa you nak, then you. So I say like this is a good way to inspire others what to look for. I hope from my interview with you, people can pick up better than me. As you people are very much smarter and have your starting platform is higher than mine. You can go very far. I doakan for you to go very far. I'm happy. That's why I come here, because the reason for me for responding things is that I want to contribute my share. How with your starting platform higher, you can go very far. Maybe you can take some of my advice, which you think is you can borrow or you can use it. Carry on, please. Take. Never give up. Never give up. There's always light at the end of the tunnel.
So I hope the viewers out there, you take this insightful information from Mr. Arsad and they can apply it to their life, be it as an engineer or any other job that they are doing. Okay, thank you once again for the sharing session. I hope you did enjoy yourself also.
Yeah, I hope this evening my one information is what I'm worried is that it's not. You have reached your goal for what you asked my presence. That's what I hope.
Yeah, that's it. Okay, we'd like to end the session now. Okay, thank you once again.
Okay.
Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.